Hi, welcome to your world with Prakash Kapila. In this episode, we have very important thing that is affecting everybody. As you know, we try to bring things that affect people on day-to-day life that is going across the world. And India, we are going to talk about India pension scheme because it is going to affect a lot of people, not only in India but also everywhere in the world. India is 130, 1.3 billion people. So whatever affects India affects the world. There is no two things about it. There is no two ways about it. So we try to first figure out what there are two pension schemes, right? You have this old pension scheme and this new pension scheme. And this old pension scheme has been the pension scheme that is applicable to quasi-government employees over a period of 75 years, last 75 years. And clearly there have been many calls about how it is not sustainable, and now it has gone to cusp of the curve that is going to increase in its disposition, so that the people, what it means is people will not, governments will not have money to fund this old pension scheme. But whereas all the political parties are saying we want to do this pension scheme. So with me here is Ravindra and Sriram. So before that, I want to play a video of JP Garu, who is a very distinguished and thinker from coming from the south of India, and he has a lot of years all across India. So let's hear about it. Yeah. So very clearly, there is a lot of emotion and a lot of disturbed mindset behind this pension scheme. So before going into the details, let us introduce ourselves. Ravindra and Sriram are along with me, so I will ask them to talk about what they're doing. So Ravindra, please.
Hello there. Thank you, Prakash, for having me in this discussion panel. I'm Ravindra. I'm from Vizag, means native of Vizag, Guntur, those places, and finally in living in San Francisco Bay Area for last 16 years. I'm working as a solution architect in Albertsons, and then I'm very keen in the political side of India because that impacts everybody's life, and also very keen follower of things happening. So, meanwhile, I came across the video of Dr. JP about the old pension scheme versus new pension scheme. I have many questions on how the India runs on the whole thing, and finally understood the whole ticking bomb of that old pension scheme. So I thought I will contribute my points here in a discussion. Thank you, Prakash.
Awesome, Ravindra. So, viewers, if you are keen, Ravindra said, my native is Vizag, Guntur. The difference between Vizag and Guntur is very high. But the thing here is, when you are outside of India, your native place becomes India, right?
Correct.
So, anybody asks you where you from, so you say, I'm from India. You don't say I'm from Anakapalli. You don't say I'm from Vanasthalipuram. You don't say, the locational thing won't be there. So just a reminder of that.
Yeah.
Sriram, please continue.
First of all, thank you, Prakash Garu, having me, and most importantly, talking about old pension scheme. I am into business for last 12 years, and I'm a very enthusiastic about public policy. And the most important thing that's currently happening or supposed to happen is about old pension scheme. And I actually have very good interest into things which could actually impact Indian total economy as a whole. Thank you, Prakash Garu, once again.
Awesome. So since you are into business, and the public policy definitely affects the business, so give us a brief about, how is the business environment there, number one. And second thing is, what is this old pension scheme? Please.
Yeah. one of the most favorable things that's happening for the people of India is that economy is booming. With economy booming, we actually want it to be somewhere around 9-10%. It's happening at 6-7%, which itself is a very good number to grow. While we have been consistently growing around that pace, what happened is it has created a lot of economic opportunities for people in India, irrespective of the strata of the financial strata in which they are in. So what happened over a period of time is economically people have progressed. Now, some of the governments have doing some irrational things like bringing back OPS, which will impact economy on the whole over a period of next 15-20 years, which no one is facing the heat at this point of time. But 15-20 years, it will be a very big impact on economy. And if the economy fails, unfortunate to say this, but our political process is not doing very much needed things. So at least if economic progress is in line, people will have a good respite. So this has become one of the biggest challenge that country is facing. And coming to OPS, OPS is a little technical issue. It's not like health or other things which the answer is straightforward. So please bear with me for a few minutes in understanding the nuances of what OPS is. Recently, I've written an article which says what is the biggest problem that the country is facing. Normally, the answers that come to us are either health, education, corruption, or unemployment. Which all these things are very important things that a government should handle and the economy should handle, no doubt about it. However, OPS is the biggest challenge that our country is facing. To give a brief background about it, before 2004, the people who have joined in government used to get a pension which is 50% of the basic of the last drawn salary, and that grows along with PRCs and dearness allowance. So this is
PRC
a
means what? PRC means
pay revision commission, which
commission.
happens
Pay
once in
revision commission is like you are clubbing the every 5 years the pay increases. That kind of scenario. Okay.
right.
Okay.
This is for government employees. Okay, dearness
Quasi
allowance
and
is
government and quasi government, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
quasi-government if actually they adopt the OPS. So mostly it is government employees. So they get increase every once in a while. So along with this, the old pension also has been increasing. The pension has increased to such an amount that it has actually become a burden on the economy. When I say burden on the economy, to give you a brief understanding, currently both union governments and state governments are spending roughly around 18% of their funds to give pensions. I'm not talking about salaries. I'm talking only about pensions. Like government is spending 18%, roughly around one in every 5 rupees that the government spends is on pensions. And how much percent of people does it get benefited with? It's only 3.2%. 3.2% of the entire population is getting 18% of the total money. So while the government in 2003 and 2002, which is of PM was Atal Bihari Vajpayee, then he brought in another pension scheme called as National Pension Scheme. Okay, so whatever happened till date, let it happen. Like people who are joined in the service or in the service before 2004 will still be applicable under old pension scheme, but now people will be joining henceforth. That's from 2004. They'll be coming under new pension scheme or national pension scheme, where the employees will contribute roughly around 10% of the basic pay, and the governments will contribute somewhere around 10 to 14% of the total pay. And this will, over a period of time, accumulate into a good sum of money. And the government employees can take a good chunk of money, roughly around 60% of the money, immediately after retirement. And then 40% of the money will be coming to them as a regular monthly pension. I mean, this is similar to what in US payroll taxes is. employer contributes 6.2% of the salary and the employee contributes 6.2% of the salary, and over a period of time it becomes a decent chunk where it will be paid for the sustenance, not for the lifestyle but for the sustenance. Similarly, new pension scheme here also does the same amount of same thing, where it amounts to a good amount over a period of time, and make sure the sustenance of a retired government employee, or for that matter private employee, is taken care of.
So
Now
here,
the
I want to interject here a little bit.
please.
So the 18% of the money is spent on 3% of the people. What is
Right.
happening for the other 97%?
Okay. Till 2004, social security for Indians is like being dependent on children. No, we as a society have taken good care of children, but that should not how social security be. Say after 2004, roughly around 6.3% of the people who come under organized sector are contributing some money in NPS and building their social security amount. But it's not not 100% of the people are doing it, but still there is an opportunity for people to do it. This is
So
again for
90%,
organization.
more than 90% of the people don't have money for their retirement or
No,
sustenance.
No.
no. And
90% of the
unfortunately,
people don't have money for their sustenance after 50 years.
Yeah, and
Wow.
considering US, Europe, developed countries, they have got 100% people covered under the social security.
mostly
So
yes.
it is a disproportionate contribution when you look at the whole numbers in India. So that is the main ticking
Yeah.
bomb.
Yeah.
Prakash. Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. Complete your thing, Sriram Garu.
Okay. Now, while NPS is doing well, they have accumulated more than a lakh of a crore of rupees, which is combined for all this thing. Now, the challenge is the government employees who joined after 2004 started asking that old pension scheme be implemented for them too. While NPS is still better because there is a lump sum that they get and the pension that they get, and after in case they pass away, they'll be and the total amount will be given to the family member also. In spite of the benefits, OPS is like I get something for free, whereas NPS is I need to contribute something in order for me to get pension over a period of time. So realizing this, government employees who joined after 2004 started asking for OPS, and unfortunately, the governments in 5 different states actually went back to OPS. So,
Do you know what are those 5 states they went back to
yes,
OPS?
Rajasthan, not Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Himachal Pradesh, and
West
what did I?
Bengal.
West Bengal has never taken up. That's the only state which did not come
Even
under.
sign up for NPS. They are always on
No,
the
they did not sign up
Oh,
for it.
okay.
Kerala also, right?
Correct.
Kerala and West Bengal, I believe.
Mhm.
Kerala did sign up for,
Okay. That's nice. Okay.
in spite
All
of
right.
being a communist state,
Yeah.
they understood that in the long term it is beneficial for the employees. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that's what the education system is something that is coming into force here. Kerala, as you know, Kerala is a small state in India. I mean, I shouldn't say small, but is a state in India that is totally literated, 100% literate, 100% literated. So when literacy comes into picture, then these kind of policies
They understand
get
the things.
exactly. I think even though it is a communist regime, they still had to bow down to more logical, sorry, not logic, logical approach. Yeah, are you done, Sriram Garu, or you have?
one last
Okay.
point is now that these people are actually government employees are asking for revert to OPS. What's happening is this 3.2%, though the number is very small, they're very organized. They have their own unions, and they are openly stating that whoever supports OPS is the parties whom we support. You know, yeah. So what is happening is these political parties because of the first past the post system, unlike what it is in US, every vote counts. So 1% or 3% votes matter a lot. So what political parties or irresponsible political parties are doing is they are actually promising OPS. Very well understanding. It's not like, you and I, common people, might not understand what OPS is or what is the impending danger. But whereas all of them very clearly understands, but they are actually willing to sacrifice a long term for the short term gain. So that is the biggest problem that I have seen what India is facing currently. So Prakash Garu, hope I
So
made some sense about it.
the biggest problem here is not that money is given. The biggest problem is that there is no sustainability of that money to be given.
Absolutely.
Whereas you have more than 90% of the people who don't get any money for the pension.
Yeah.
Whereas you have 3% of the people who get almost 20% of the money. And that is also not sustainable. Like if you go back around 80s, then a few of the state governments were not able to pay their bills. Ravindra, you want to give your opening
Yeah,
statement and
it's,
then we can discuss
yeah,
on that.
well summarized, Sriram, about this whole OPS versus NPS. Here, the main important factor why in India they are going for people vote for OPS. So the 3% who are beneficiaries, they know this OPS. I think almost 70% of the 97% of people, they don't even understand what is this OPS and NPS because of the level of literacy in our country. And also the amount of poverty in India. There is no way people have a vision to look beyond 15 years. They only see what is I'm getting it right now. So they postponed this thing of OPS so good that a bomb is in the ticking right now. If you look at already, we talked about the numbers and the JP Garu talked about the whole in a bigger scale. So this one. And coming to this, if you remember, as Prakash mentioned, in 1990s, right, early 90s, our states, they don't have money to pay the monthly salaries to their employees, especially the Bihar and not just Bihar, at least 4 or 5 states. So that is where Manmohan Singh and PV Narasimha Rao bought the reforms, the well much needed reforms, and they pulled India from so many difficult situations. Now I think this OPS to NPS is also should be one of the most important thing everybody should think about. So educate yourself and at least inform this how OPS is going to be a big challenge for India in next 15-20 years, and tell them don't fall for the trap of OPS. So don't elect parties in any politely. I'm telling you, choose your vote wisely. When you think about it, don't think about now. Think about the kids who are not even born in India. Think about their future as well. So that is how I will put it, Prakash.
I beg to differ actually.
Mhm.
So it's not that people are getting money, it's like the people are getting money from a small pot which will run out of that money. So it's not more like, okay, we'll wait for our kids to grow. No, 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 no. This is going to happen in say 5 years or 10 years. Because I remember during 90s, when PV Narasimha Rao was prime minister, he just became prime minister. We had money for only 40 days, whole of
Wow.
India.
Mm.
Only 40 days we had money. And most of the money was like going into the state funded schemes, schemes that didn't have the funds. So, apart from feeding people, because of FCI has bought a lot of paddy, apart from feeding people, we didn't have any other thing to go with it. So, if this OPS was funded, then I wouldn't have any problem.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Prakash. I think in the world, all developed countries, right, if you look at their economy, all their pension plans are well funded. As Sriram already mentioned, there would be a contribution from the employee side and also from the employer side, and they were put in a single bank and then that will go into hedging, and it's a all little bit complex subject. But the point is, all these all these pensions are funded. Okay, whereas in India, already Mr. Modi is trying for this cashless economy and all that, right? So right now, if you look at it, most of the out of the 97%, at least 30-40% of the population, they live on day-to-day wages, mostly cash transactions. So in a typical construction work jobs and all, right, where the guy who is doing the construction worker, he'll be paid cash at the end of it. So government does not even know how this guy got the cash. Whereas in America, everybody payroll will be run, and they will have a social security number, and they associate the whole money there. So there is accountability from the government side for everyone. So here also,
I differ here.
yeah. Mhm.
The small companies, they pay in cash, but they register that money as a salary to their CA. So they say that we paying cash salary, but we're paying this cash as salary. So that is registered as a salary.
These are all the systems we need to fix it, Prakash. Because I know in India everybody can find a nice hole, and they can siphon off things, right? So we need to fix that system as well. And also, as one of the ideas I think Prakash was suggesting was about paying the money to the all these daily wage workers through Paytm. I
Paytm
think
is
I
another,
consider
yeah.
it's a excellent idea.
Paytm or digital money,
All
a
digital
digital
transaction,
transfer,
at least
yeah,
the
digital
government knows
transfer.
about it. And maybe we should educate the poor people of advantage of going with the
Right.
Paytm, so that in
Right.
future, after certain age, they might get something to sustain themselves, right, in their old age. So
Yes, yes.
right now,
See,
yeah.
I totally believe that people who are working in this non organized sector, say 90+% of people who are working in non-organized sector, they have this feeling that what will happen to me after 45 years or after 50 years, because they see their grandfathers, they have seen their grandfathers, they have seen old people around them. So they not having the visual, the outlook of that is something very difficult, because they do have it. And what they don't, I believe, and a lot of intellectuals also don't, is that you run out of money and there is nobody else to give you money. You see this time and again, Brazil, Argentina, for
Venezuela.
example, China, in Ping'an, right? The real estate division.
Mm.
The Ping'an didn't have money, and it was always taking money from CIBC, Central Investment Banking of China. And then all of a sudden, government said, I can't give you. So the real estate has fallen like anything, because they were thinking that government has a lot of money. But it doesn't work like that. Government has to always prioritize things. And today, 3% of the people are priority. But tomorrow, some cyclone happens or something else happens, the whole thing will move there. So there is no guarantee of that money. That
That is
is
so
what
true.
is thing that we have to highlight. A lot of people think that government salary and government pensions are guaranteed. They are not. If they don't get the funds, that's it, done.
Correct. It's a,
6 months. I know when I was a kid growing up, 6 months, government of Bihar did not pay salary. 6 months.
because they don't have
So
money. So
yeah, they
don't
don't have
assume that the
money.
government will
The
100% pay the
allocation of
salary.
money was there. You have to. There is a small nuance of it. When they allocated money for pension, salaries, and all those things. Then suddenly Lallu Prasad Yadav's daughter got a wedding. You have to spend for wedding, right? She's like, and also there are so many other people. Azam Khan got something else, or so many other things that are highest priority of the state, like someone going into America for doing cancer treatment. That's the most important thing. Salaries are not important, so they move it there. So even though allocation is made, the governments try to use the money that is existing for immediate.
Even the whoever supports this whole pension scheme as well, it is not that their pension is guaranteed. That's what you are trying
There
to
is no
say.
guarantee.
There
No,
is no
there is no
guarantee.
guarantee.
So once it crosses something, government will have different priority. They will say, okay, stay put on this. Or so.
The
I'd
whole thing
like
is this
to
is
add a
3%.
point here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd like to add a point here. The people who are actually fighting to revert from NPS to OPS are the ones who actually will be retiring, say, after 15, 20 years. By
Ah,
then, if at all, if OPS comes, what happens is the government will go into a spiraling debt, and governments will, like Prakash Garu said, there will be allocation, but there will not be actual money to spend for that OPS. So forget about the employees, government employees getting their pension. They'll not be getting salaries who are in the service. So then it becomes that most of the state governments will go bankrupt, and they'll be making sure they'll be paying only for the most important and urgent services that the government is giving, and rest all will go back burner. So it
okay.
is actually in the benefit of the government employees that they go for NPS or they continue to do the NPS, because that money is parked elsewhere in their pension fund, and government is regularly contributing irrespective of what happens to the state governments or union governments. That fund is there for them, and they can have a good life post retirement.
Got it.
Right. So, Ravindra, you are from US and from California. So, how do these pension schemes work in US and California? We have
Oh,
you said that Social Security, everybody gets Social Security in
correct,
US.
correct.
So, how is this possible in US, and is this
So in
possible
your
in India
paycheck,
as well?
yeah, the feasibility of implementing the similar social security in India, right? So how we can do it? So as I was telling before, so in US, normally I think everybody's paycheck, right? Whenever they run, some certain 6.25%, some portion of money will be already put into a social security account, and the government also matches some amount, and it will keep growing there. And also they use that amount. It is your own money only. They will give it after your retirement. So that's how they. So finally, it is not the government they are paying you money. It is your own money. So in a way, it is fully funded. So there is no question of government saying I don't have money or doing it. So not just in America, in even in Canada, in Sweden, Norway, all the countries they have
Of
this,
course,
and they are
Nordic
doing.
countries,
They
Sweden,
are even
Switzerland.
better. Yeah, they are
I
best.
mean, Norway.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that oil comes from Middle East. A lot of people have this thing that Middle East means oil, but Norway has got so much of oil that it is like a second to Saudi Arabia.
Hmm. But
Norway, Russia, they have a lot of oil, and America has so much of oil that they can. America is the biggest exporter of refined oil,
oil.
ref, refined oil. So oil is crude oil. You have to refine it for gasoline, kerosene, petrol, all those things. So a lot of people don't understand that the oil is not that important right now. And also the countries like Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, these are called Nordic countries. These Nordic countries, I am so Finland also. I'm so amazed that they are on top of everything. In Norway, you get so much freedom and so much money. Even if you don't work, you can just go and say, I am not able to work. I'm thinking what to work, and you get money. In Canada, for example, you can be out of job and you can go to government and say, I want to change my career. Give me some money. I'll learn new things. The government gives money. So they have money. They have the allocation. But they have one thing that they do is like the money that they give, they take 5 times more of that money, and therefore they're able to do it time and again. Even the social security, like Ravindra was saying, there is a complex web of finance that is behind that thing. So, for example, in India, a lot of people only know banks. Banks are like, okay, deposits and loans for retail and for corporate. Corporate means business, like Sriram. And then there is mergers and acquisitions for the banks. That's like old banking system. The new banking system is venture capital, private equity, investment banking, and then you have
Hedge
the
funding.
hedge fund. Hedge fund is another thing. So where they every money that they put, they get 10 times the returns, 20 times the returns, and they are able to. That's why CalPERS, like California retirement system, runs on that. So they give money to private equity, to hedge funds, to the most important thing is when you have availability of money, then lot of other good avenues come, like small and medium sectors in India don't have money at all. Banks can't give them money. So if we are able to take the money from individuals and then we give it to, say, credit card company, just credit card companies charge you 30% per month. I mean,
Per year.
30% per annum.
Per year.
Right? So it's like 3 rupees per month.
Yeah.
And
Another point
we
I'd like
think,
to add,
yeah,
another point I'd like to add here is you rightly mentioned about the Nordic countries. They have a very good pension fund in place, and they have been consistently investing in other countries and making good returns out of it.
yeah, that's
And
also there. Yeah.
they have a very, very good amount of money just parked there so that their social security is taken care of probably for the next century, even if it doesn't grow very well, even if it grows nominally, it is still taken care of for quite some time. And two countries which went bankrupt because of OPS are Greece and Italy.
Oh, they
And
had the old system. Okay.
yeah, they had
Yeah,
the old
government
system.
gives the pension. Yeah, that is the
And
problem.
corporations that went bankrupt and came back are Ford and GM because they could restructure their this thing and they stopped paying pension for people who were covered under OPS because it's a private entity. They could do it faster. The government employees have to do it. They do it slow, and so we as a country should be very careful. Another two countries which are on the verge of
Collapse.
financial breakdown are Argentina and Chile, if I'm right. So these two countries are again facing the similar major challenges again because of OPS.
So we have
I think India as a
examples.
country should realize.
We have the examples
Not
before
only
our
that,
eyes.
Venezuela and Colombia also. Venezuela has lot of oil, but it cannot pay the pensions that it is. So it earns a lot of money by selling oil, but it cannot pay pensions. Iran has so much oil, it cannot pay pensions to its employees. The promised pensions and all those things, they don't get it. So the whole thing that government is going to guarantee our money is blunder.
Myth.
It's a myth actually, because government runs on the person who is on the top, and on the top you have Modi, you have Jagan, you have KCR, you have people who don't Stalin and all those guys. So what is there in their mind is what will happen to the government guarantees. We have seen Chandrababu Naidu saying that I'll remove alcohol. We have seen Jagan saying that we'll remove alcohol. It didn't go. Then they just came and said we can't do it.
Now
But
make it monetized,
every
right?
time they go they go and say we'll remove alcohol. So government promises are not, it's not that they don't want to do it, but it is like the circumstances are in such a way that they can't do it. It is not possible for them to do it. So even the old pension scheme is going to be bankrupt. And what we need to do is have a completely redefined thinking. There is Make in India, there is a lot of startup companies. So why not we collect money from people? And I tell you, every 8 years, if you give the percentage of 8%, every 11 years, your money doubles. So the guy who is like 25-year-old, if he puts in 1,000 and the government puts in 1,000, over a period of 12 months, it will be 24,000. And this 24,000 over a period of 25 years will become 2 lakhs, or sorry, more than a lakh, because it keeps on double. 24
Yeah, it
times 2 is
compounds.
48.
It is not straight also. It's a compounding.
It's
So
a compound interest. 8% of compound interest in 11 years will double, or
Mhm.
7% of compound interest with 12 years, it becomes double.
Correct.
So with 8% or 8.5%, that is like very nominal, more than what the CDs are paying. You take 8.5% from, you give 8.5% to the small guy and take this money and give it to the bank and say, rotate it. They will rotate it for 30%. Give more money to small and medium enterprises so that they can give back the money. Our farmers are not getting money. Our small scale industries are not getting money. Our medium enterprises are not getting money. Only,
97% of the population are not getting money, Prakash. So
yeah,
you
they
see
don't
all the
know how
samples
to
before.
live. Yeah, after 50 years, the Amma Odi,
Everything
government
is
is going to
gone.
give
Yeah.
you retirement, but that retirement is not going to be enough. It will not be sustainable. And the only thing is you have to live on
Amma
government
will
things.
become Amma Odi, and I don't think it is going to work out, Prakash. This is
Grandmom, granddad Odi.
grandpa. Yeah. So
I'll tell
I
you a
think
couple
we
of
got to wake
numbers
up. Time
here.
to wake up and smell coffee, Prakash. So this is the time. Yeah.
I would like
Go
to tell
ahead,
a couple
Sridhar.
of numbers here. I'm sorry. The pension that an average pensioner gets here from a government pensioner who gets is roughly around 5 lakhs per annum. Whereas if you actually spread all these, what do you say, Ammavadi and other kind of freebies or other insurances, it is roughly around 38,000 per annum. So look at that drastic difference. 38,000 versus 5
lakhs.
lakh
5
what
lakhs.
that a government this thing. And it all, where does it all go from? The budget. It is not funded. So that is the biggest challenge.
Yeah, money has to come from revenue only, tax revenue only. Government, even if it knows how to print, it cannot print as it is, because Argentina, you look at Argentina, Brazil, Chile, the Venezuela, Colombia, these countries, they
And
printed
also,
money
Prakash,
and they
you
went
have
down.
one more factor you need to consider. Our human, how do we say, how many years they live, right? So the longevity is also increasing, Prakash. So
Yes.
it is not that initially it was 62. Now I think right now in India it was around 72 or 73. So that is a very big burden that is going to add a huge burden actually. So one more factor.
Unfortunately, we are out of time.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to discuss this more and more. We'll come
Yeah.
up with more numbers, with more different people. I promise you that. And thank you so much for being with us. Closing statements, Ravindra. 1 minute closing
There
statement.
is one website called refuseops.in. Please go there and sign. We are doing a signature collection about people who understood the gravity of the situation and they wants to oppose this. Okay, please go and contribute. That is one thing. And for the future of India, please say no for the old OPS. Please educate and agitate, and also you spread this information with all your fellow humans about the tickling bomb you had, so that you can diffuse this before it become a reality. So that is my take here, Prakash.
Wonderful. Sriram.
I get this question a lot of times. Okay, now that I know about OPS, what am I supposed to do about it? Okay, a lot of, I'm sure the lot of audience here are NRIs. So it is like this. One, like what Ravindra Garu said, go and vote in refuseops.in. To educate your friends and family here that not to vote for parties who are actually supporting the OPS. I'm sure it's very easy to find out who. I don't want to name them. And three, social security, like Prakash Garu has said, is a very, very important thing. Educate your people here that contributing on a regular basis to social security and the people who work under them is going to be very crucial and critical, so that we can actually increase or decrease the people who are not under social security net from 90.5 to say 80, 70 over a period of time. So
Awesome.
that's
Beautiful. So the takeaways are this: old pension scheme not sustainable. To the employees who think that government is going to really give them the money they promised are living in la la land. All the government promises have been. I
There
don't
are
want
enough
to.
examples we have seen before
Yeah.
our eyes. So
yeah.
This is also, don't take it like a surprise. So it
Yeah,
is also
it's not a God's word. It's only
yeah,
government's word, Jagan's
government's word.
word, CM's word, KCR's word, Modi's word. So even if they want, there will be circumstances where they can't. And then once they can't, they won't. Once they can get away with can't, they won't. And there are examples in India also. Bihar was not able to pay the salaries on proper time. When you can't pay salaries, how can you pay pension? So,
Forget
and
it.
there were so many arrears that Jagan government had to give to employees. They didn't give, and it doesn't matter which
And
government it
that too,
is.
Prakash, they won't stay their power forever, right? It
Yeah,
changes every 5 years. So
your
obviously,
pension
you
is coming after 15 years. Then they will say, Jagan was wrong, I was right. I told not to do. We are
exactly
not doing this. What are you going to do?
correct.
So you need to have a sustainable way of managing your money. And having the mutual funds or having the money grow by compounding, this is guaranteed. Like a lot of companies here, a lot of pension systems here, they work on those basis. And the most important thing, how the hell will 95% of the people live after another 15 years? They can't do physical work. They can't do menial job because it's very time and brain intensive. They can't do it. What are you going to do with them? And it is going 90% of 1.3 billion, mind you guys, it's like 1 billion people.
1.4 billion, Prakash.
1.4 billion, 90% of 1.4 billion is like 1 billion people.
Yeah, more than
1
that,
billion.
1.2 billion. Yeah,
And all of them won't have a job, can't work. What are they going to do? How will the society run if so many people are not having the money to survive and sustain? You can't manage 3% of the people. How can you 3% giving pension to 3% of the people? How can you give pension to 90% of the people? And if you don't give pension to them, they are not going to just wither off. They have to live. What will they do? Lot of crime, lot of society. I totally believe in JP sir that we are in a ticking time bomb,
Mhm.
and we need to change now. Whether even if you are a government employee, don't believe in government, don't believe in OPS. Come out with a system that has worked time and again. US, UK, Canada, Germany, Finland, Norway, Switzerland, Japan, China. Whoa, so many examples. Let's be little smart and let's try to do things that make sense.
thank you.
I promised you that I'm going to do more series of this. Let's do series of this. So Sriram will have more inputs from you.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Sriram. Thank you, Prakash.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Prakash.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.